I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and Nokia, after months and months and months, have finally released their first two Windows Phone 7 devices. One's a Nokia Lumia 710, and the other one is the Nokia Lumia 800. Now this bad boy isn't coming to the US, but it's going to be available in a bunch of other countries starting this month and then rolling out again to some other countries in December. Not quite coming to the US, though Nokia says next year is the year for Windows Phone 7 devices in the US. Let's take a look at this though and see if this is the device you should get. Maybe you should even unlock it and bring it over into the States. We'll find out in the full review of the Nokia Lumia 800, but first, going to give some love to my boys at Best Buy Mobile, because they hook us up with a lot of phones for use in our One Paw Bandit game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, they'll help you with, regardless of whether it's AT&T or Sprint or Verizon or T-Mobile, they're unbiased. They'll help you not only walk out working, but they'll help you with unbiased advice and more at Best Buy Mobile. Enough of that, let's get into it. Full review, Nokia Lumia 800. Is this the Nokia Windows Phone 7 device? Heck, is this the best Windows Phone 7 device on the market ever in the history of Windows world? We'll find out starting right now. So similar platform, different hardware. Here's Nokia, one of their two Windows Phone devices. This is Nokia Lumia 800, and this is coming out in select countries this month and coming out in more countries in December, but not coming to the US until at least early next year. Nokia hasn't said whether they're going to bring out the Lumia 800 to the US, or they're going to bring out a 4G equivalent, or they're going to bring out entirely different models. We don't really know their US plans, but this is coming out in the UK and 5 other countries in November, and then another rollout in December. So a nice device, totally different design here for Nokia. Well, not really totally different design. It's the N9 basically with a camera shortcut button, a little bit of a placement change with the flash, and they slapped a couple things around and made the Lumia 800. But an absolutely beautiful display. They're matching excellent hardware with a Windows Phone 7.5 Mango device, and it's exciting to see Nokia's first product as a result of their partnership, if you will, with Microsoft. So specs-wise, this is packing a 1.4 gigahertz single-core processor. It has an 8 megapixel camera on the back with 720p HD video recording. It does not have a front-facing camera, which is particularly interesting on this device because, when he took stage, Stephen Elop said, this is really the first Windows Phone. This is the first real device on this platform. Well, it doesn't have a front-facing camera, so some people are thinking, well, this really isn't all it's cracked up to be, at least in terms of specs, but great on the rest of the front. 8 megapixel camera, like I said, 720p, Windows Phone 7.5, so it's running Mango, and it's got this beautiful body that's all crafted out of one piece, and then you can see up here your 3.5mm headphone jack. You've got your micro USB charging port here. You've got your micro SIM card slot here, which I don't want to pull out or else it'll deactivate. I'm on AT&T right now. Now, just in case you're considering bringing this over into the US, it does work on AT&T's 3G bands and on AT&T's HSPA Plus band. So you can see I'm on HSPA Plus right now. It does back up to 3G as well if you consider HSPA Plus to be 4G. Now, it doesn't work on T-Mobile. The maximum it'll go up to with T-Mobile is Edge. So if you are looking for 3G experience and you have T-Mobile, this is not going to be the device for you. But over here, volume rocker, you've got your power button and your camera shortcut button. Nothing over on this side than the typical capacitive Windows buttons, back, home, and then search as well. So no real changes, at least to the software front. What I will say is this new crop of Windows Phone 7 devices that have that single-core 1.4 gigahertz processor, it's faster. You can tell a substantial, at least for me, I can tell a speed boost. Let me get that fingerprint off the screen before it bothers me. There we go. And you can just see, to me, a substantial speed boost versus the 1 gigahertz processors that were launched in the original crop of Windows devices. Now, this thing is unlocked, so it's unbranded. You're not seeing any carrier-installed applications. I installed my wireless myself from the marketplace, but you'll just see out of the box you get the typical Windows stuff. I've installed my wireless, BBC Mobile, CNN, a couple of apps just to toy around with it, Facebook. What you do get though out of the box with this, 3 unique Nokia applications: Nokia Drive, Nokia Maps, and Nokia Music, which we'll cover. And then of course you get Xbox Live, Office, you get my email account, Old Man Baker. I've downloaded some Twitter applications, and then We Care, which is a Nokia way of submitting feedback on the Lumia 800. So it's a nice device. It feels great in the hand, and it has a 3.7-inch AMOLED display utilizing Nokia's clear black technology. So you can really tell it's an AMOLED display. Beautiful colors here. The black is very, very black. And again, 3.7 inches may seem like it's on the small side, and I will say after using devices like the HTC Resound, Motorola Droid Razr, you just look at the size comparison here with the display, it is a noticeable difference. It is much smaller, but you do get used to it over time, and it's still larger than the 3.5-inch display found on the iPhone. So let's just go back through and cover some of the stuff because it's been a while since we've done a Windows Phone review. So let's go in here and take a look at messaging first because I want to show you how the interface, or it's not really different, but how it's different from Android and from iOS, which is basically what we've reviewed all summer and into the fall. So you can see here, again, 3.7-inch display. If you're coming over for the first time rather, from, let's say, if something with a physical QWERTY keyboard, a BlackBerry Bold, you know, maybe an Android device with a physical QWERTY keyboard, it may be a little bit hard to get used to. That said, I do like the auto-correction on the Windows keyboard or on the Microsoft keyboard. I think it's better than a lot of the other alternatives on the market. So we'll say the Quick Brown Fox. Let's see, what did Quick Brown Fox do today? Quick Brown Fox drove to the restaurant to meet his buddy. Quick Brown Fox drove to the restaurant to meet his buddy. And you can see it in portrait and landscape. But one thing I do like about Windows Phone, they do a great job with the transition effects. You can see, you know, it takes 2 to 3 seconds for it to transition, but that little creative transition effect you see kind of throws your eye and makes it seem shorter than it really is. But of course you can use that keyboard in portrait or in landscape mode, and that is the main keyboard that comes with it. Now in messaging you get 2 different options. We'll back up here so you can see what the thread looks like. Here's my AT&T message that I got, and when I respond, we'll go ahead and say, if it'll let me, there we go, hi, and it's going to come back and say error, but just to give you an idea of what the thread looks like. And then, of course, your signal strength stuff is up here. Now, when I get this message in just a second saying I didn't text a valid number, which I suspect I'll get here in a sec, the text messaging pops up here, and of course you'll see a 1 on the live tile beside messages. Now, one thing I like, they've really done a great job with making live tiles more prevalent. You can see I have the BBC News tile, and you can see how everything's kind of flipping and kind of dynamic. I have Charlotte weather going on right now, and it's flipping between the map and what the actual weather is. I have BBC Home, which is updating with news. I have my Twitter accounts here, or my Twitter account with my mentions and with my home, and it flips back and forth and gives me up-to-date information. You can see the pictures are moving as well. So that's pretty nice. And I like having the live tiles. That said, I wish it was a little bit easier to access the live tiles. Instead of having them, unless I'm missing something with Mango, unless, you know, you look in the applications, for example, and you can set up live tiles depending on the application. I think there should be one universal place in settings where I can say enable live tiles for everything, or enable live tiles for these applications. Just kind of a centralized place where I can do it, as opposed to going into each application and customizing it. But hey, personal, small little thing. Let's take a look at people as well, and while we're going through the interface here, and you can see I have my Twitter account set up right here, so you can see people, you can see what's new, and it's going to automatically update right here with what's going on right now. So I've got some tweets here, and then of course I can go to recent. Rick James is a recent for me, and I can go back to people. So if it's with me, it should say my Twitter update right here. I don't know why it stopped bringing it up, but if I tweet it right now, it would pop up beside me, and then I can go down here to where it says Rick James and use him as an example. Now, one thing I really like is when you have a lot of contacts in here and you have these little letters here, I can click on it and it'll tell me which, you know, for example, if I had Aaron in here, the A would be lit up. If I had Chris in here, the C would be lit up. If I had Tori in here, the T would be lit up. Catherine, the K would be lit up, for example. So it's kind of cool because you can come in here and say, okay, well, weird, I don't have any J contacts, I don't have any H contacts. Kind of a cool little thing. And then I can, of course, click on those, and then if they are highlighted, I can migrate straight to that list. But let's take a look at Rick James here. You can see Rick James has come to work for Phone Dog. So we can see here, and he's part of the Old Man Baker profile. You can see call mobile, text, send, or call mobile, as I should say. Send email, map, work address, view website, company, job title, and the notes. He is the man, in case you were wondering. So I can see my history here as well with Rick James. And go to no recent conversations or calls with his contact. I'm not sure why it lagged just then. This is the first time I've ever seen this device lag. So I don't know what's going on right now. But ignore that first one, but if it continues, we'll definitely take a look at it. But you can see here, call mobile, I can text directly, I can send an email, I can map the work address. I can click here, for example, and it's going to bring up Bing Maps and his address. This is a random address I popped in. And you can see it's going to bring up 219 North Tryon Street, and then it's going to bring up where I'm located as well. And so I can focus in here. Why in the world does it say Greenville right here? I don't know why it says that. But it brings up some of the local neighborhoods in the area within the city loop here. And you can see it's loading up right now. So that's pretty cool. Ability to map out directly like that while it's searching for me. And then, of course, like I said, Nokia Drive, Nokia Maps, and then Nokia Music. And there is that message, like I told you, where it said error, invalid number, and it popped up. So Nokia Drive, Nokia Maps, Nokia Music all come with the Lumia 800. And this is something I've criticized Windows Phone for some time for not having a really good map application. Every time I switch from Android, I miss having Google Maps. Well, Nokia Maps seeks to kind of address that issue, and so we can come down here and take a look. For example, we're going to accept the improvement program. we're going to get it to focus in the general vicinity of where we're at. And you can see, there we go. It's going to bring it in the uptown area. And we can take a look here and do it real time just to give you an idea of what the map's interface looks like. So really nice to have this. And you have Nokia Drive as well. So if you pull up an address, it'll talk to you, it'll navigate you to your intended address. I don't know why this isn't coming up. Let's see here. So we have decent coverage. Let's try that one more time. Bring it up one more time, see if it zooms us in. There we go. That's better. And then you can see Charlotte. And so there I am, and you can see a nice little green dot, and then I can search for stuff. I can see places. So I'll bring up places, for example, and let's see what we can find here. Looking up popular places, and I'll zoom in and see what we can see here. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Places. Looking for popular. Maybe there aren't any popular places right now. Maybe everybody's in their car. It is rush hour after all. So, okay, here we go. So you can see some food choices. Brick's Wood-Fired Pizza, Charlotte Sting, Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club is fun. Children's Theater of Charlotte, Dunhill Hotel, Buckhead Saloon, etc. Buckhead, etc. So you do have a lot of different options there. And then same thing with Nokia Drive. Same kind of concept here. And we'll back out of that and go to a Nokia Drive so you can take a look at it and see. Same thing, but you can navigate much easier through this one. If you have another address, I can say, okay, here on Tryon Street, and that is not where I'm at, but I don't know why that's close enough, I guess. And so you can see Tryon this way, and then whenever I rotate, hopefully the arrow will rotate with it. There we go, that's correct. So you can see there I am, and I'm not going 6 miles per hour, but it says I'm going 6 miles per hour. But I come over here and I can see navigation options in 2D or in 3D. I can set that destination, I can change my settings, and then from there it'll tell me how fast I'm going, how far away I am from it. And then of course you can see this is kind of cool because I'm in 3D mode. You can see Bank of America Tower, you can see the Hearst Tower, which is pretty cool to see those within the Maps application. So again, totally free on the Lumia 800, and it's nice to have additional applications like that.